So here's an example of how your paper should look. So right now I have several boxes. I have 4 boxes actually. So I have one that says thematic premise. I have one that says historical background. I have a paper that says characters that support the thematic premise, the TP. And and I also have takeaways. So what do you take away from your work? So I'm going to go quickly through the 4 boxes, and we're going to talk about what do you need to do for your boxes. So the first box says thematic premise. So state the thematic premise. So again, what is the purpose? What is the moral of the story? Then you're going to provide concrete evidence of the thematic premise. So this is the point where you can give me this bullet points of what evidence do you see in the story. So just make a big box. You can use a big piece of paper. You can make several pieces of paper. You can have one paper that's dedicated to thematic premise. You can have several. So you need to make a decision on how are you going to, and what do you need to do in order to capture that. So again, that's why I suggest you have sticky notes. So then that way, on your paper, you can just stick them on there, or you can tape them on there once you have finished reading the book. So so find concrete evidence for your book. The next one, historical background. So this is where you're going to give background knowledge of the story. So if the person is writing a fictional story on slavery, such as Uncle Tom's Cabin, so what was what was going on during that time period? Were there wars taking place? Were people against slavery or people for slavery? Why did the author write the book? What were her intentions for writing the book? So here you want to give background knowledge that for the book. So just like the Hunger Games, they're talking about a dystopian society. So what background could they use? Did they use the Holocaust as a reference point? So go deeper with your book. How is the book used to explore that time period? Historical evidence that supports or challenges the thematic premise. So again, what historical events in the book that you're reading challenge society? In Lakota Women, she's challenging society on the notion of how Native Americans are perceived in society. So what did that look like? And if you're looking at World War Z, he was challenging our society about how we conduct ourselves during crisis, from the United States all the way down to China. So he was asking those questions in World War Z. So make sure you give historical background. So getting inside the author's head and finding out what is he trying to say about society.